Here comes the silent alarm. And there it goes. That's funny, it didn't dial out to 911. It was trying to reach a private number. Is it a problem? No, I'm done here.
Now, does everybody remember this movie? Right? This opening scene here. I just wanted to remind you of this. This is how criminals act. I mean, there's nothing done in the shadows that is not going to be revealed at some point, right? So imagine all these people, living a whole life of crime, whatever, just thinking about this heist and what they're going to get out of it.
Obviously, we don't want you doing anything with your hands other than holding on for dear life.
It's like they pretty much they thought this whole thing out, right? Pretty much covered every basis. Well, they didn't see that coming.
You and your friends are dead! He's out, right?
Now,
Where did you learn to count?
They wired this thing up with like 5,000 volts. What kind of bank does that?
Mob bank. I guess the Joker's as crazy as they say. Where's the alarm guy?
Boss told me when the guy was
Thieves.
done, I should take him out.
Thieves stealing off thieves, right?
Funny, he told me something similar. No!
You know what thieves always do, right? There's no honor amongst thieves, right?
That's a lot of money. If this Joker guy was so smart, he'd have had us bring a bigger car. I'm betting the Joker told you to kill me as soon as we loaded the cash.
Oh, see, this one's smart, right?
No. I killed a bus driver.
Bus driver? What bus driver? School's out. Time to go. It's not getting up, is it? That's a lot of money. What happened to the rest of the guys?
So,
Think you're smart, huh? The guy that hired yous. They'll just do the same to you.
right?
Oh, criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor. Respect.
Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
What do you believe in?
Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Now, I don't necessarily believe that at all, but this scene teaches us quite a lot, right? Well, it teaches some people
Years, now you don't understand.
quite a lot.
One fundraiser with my pals. You'll never need another set.
So this is where things are at now, right? All these people are scrambling, right? They don't know what to do.
What was this? As you're all aware, one of our deposits was stolen.
watch and have my boy here pull your head off.
How about a magic trick?
So this is the reason I wanted to make this video, and the point that I wanted to get across is when you are involved in something like this, this is what I don't understand. Why these people don't, at some point, they don't think about these consequences. Like, it's inevitable, okay? You never win. Cheaters never win, right? Winners never cheat. So what makes anybody think that they would ever win at something like this, like what they're doing? Now, I'm not religious. I have never read the Bible, but they do say somewhere in the Bible that doesn't God say that you'll entertain angels unknowing, right? So um, why don't people get it? Whenever you're presented with clues to tell you, that you're being tested, right? Your integrity is being tested, just like you're doing to somebody else, right? Just like you might be, looking over somebody, invading their privacy. You think you have control over that person, right? What makes you think that that person is revealing everything to you? What makes you think that you have it all figured out, right? Now, if God, the divine plan, God's plan, right? He doesn't reveal it to the devil, right? And the devil doesn't have, you know, um, other people that he can celebrate his victory with, right? At the end, it's just him by himself, right? He just uses everybody. That's it, to get what he wants. So when you work for the devil, when you do anything with that negative intent, and you're working for him, right? You're not doing God's work, that's for sure. And I believe God lets things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Everything. So he allows things to happen, right? Because it's all part of the plan. The people involved don't understand it. They might see it later on, but it's impressive when you see it after the fact, and you realize it's very impressive, right? And you realize that even though it's pretty exciting to when you realize that you were part of that plan, and you were, thank God, blessed, and that you were on the right side of it, right? That God was working through you, things were happening, almost like it with a divine direction, with a divine guidance, right? Now, if there was everybody, just like you guys watch me and watch other people, why don't you guys realize that there's somebody watching you? What makes you think that nobody's watching what you're doing, right? The whole time, all of it. Meanwhile, these, this group of people is willing to give you the chance to sow your own fate, right? Everybody makes mistakes. So everybody has been given this chance, this choice, right? Power of choice throughout this. This has been a long process for me anyway. In given a power of choice, you could done the right thing at any given point in time, especially when presented with all these clues, right? Now, if I if I was a clever fellow and I learned what the whole deal was, say 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago, what makes you think I wouldn't come up with a plan to outsmart, you know, the idiots, right? So, what do you guys use? Plausible deniability, right? So I'm not I'm not insane. So why would I continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? Expecting a different result. I know that's not going to happen. So what have I been doing, right? What do you guys do? You distract, right? You just distract. You bide yourself some time and you just distract the target so you can do whatever you want in the background, right? So it's not very hard. I just, take notes from you guys. It's not very hard to just bitch about what's been done to me over and over and over again, right? Meanwhile, allowing you guys all to expose yourselves one by one by one by one by one. While you've all had the chance. You've all been given the opportunity, the choice, right? And nobody put a gun to your head. Nobody, you've had not just like one choice, several times you've had a choice to do the right thing or to do the wrong thing. And now it's like this is a time where everybody just is scrambling to save themselves. And at that point, your intentions are not pure. You're not making the right choice for the right reasons. You might be making the right choice now just to save your ass. And you don't get to do that now. Now you're just one of these guys in this opening scene here. You're one of these idiots that stayed in too long, right? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So it just blows my mind that a group of people with a plan this intricate, they don't think about these things. What goes up must come down. All good things come to an end. All that shit. These are universal sayings. These are universal truths that have stood the test of time. The truth will always prevail. It always does. It's inevitable. So when when we're mostly planning on folding, or you can't just call every hand and expect to win. It doesn't work like that. So if you've gone through this process and God said that, you will entertain angels unknowing, have you ever stopped to think about who are the, you know, who are the angels in disguise? You don't have to worry about the devil in disguise. That's you, right? But who are the angels in disguise? Well, wouldn't it just be the perfect twist to the story, right? That the actual angel in disguise, right? The one that's been handing you the very opportunity, the direct choice in guiding you, trying to guide everybody to make the right choice the entire time, is the only person you've been looking at the entire time, right? The problem is nobody has stopped to look at their own actions. They haven't thought about any of that. They've just been, what has been driving you? The money, the greed, right? It's like you've worked all this hard to get to the Mexican border, and you can see it. It's right there. All you got to do is cross it, and you're home free. But you can't swim. You can't. And the Rio Grande is a lot deeper than you thought it was. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Now, I still hold out hope. I still believe that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has the chance to redeem themselves. I believe that's the point why we're here. That's the whole point of why we're here, to um, to make a positive difference in the world somehow, in somebody's life, in some way, shape, or form. So throughout this whole thing, right, the whole targeting thing, the gang stalking thing, what you have to look at the big picture. Who is whose lives are improving? Who are you helping? This program doesn't help anybody. It certainly doesn't help society or humanity. It doesn't, it's evil to its core. The devil's in the details. It's written right on the wall. The writing's right there on the wall. So you guys are working for the Joker. You guys are the Joker. Literally, you're the Joker. I don't know if any of you have actually taken that training, where they try to brainwash you and they try to trick you into thinking you're Batman or something. You're not Batman, right? The Joker, he respects Batman. He looks up to Batman. He wishes that he could be more like Batman, right? He's very smart. But he's a loner, just like Batman, right? But Batman always wins, doesn't he? The Joker's just a fucking whack job. He's the mentally unstable one. He's the one that has the mental problems. I have faith in humanity and in faith in good people. I believe the noise, what you hear, what you see online, all that crap that paints this narrative that makes a person believe that somebody is something they're not, that's all just the noise. But that noise is all created by the low vibrational stupid people. I believe that the good people, right? The smart people, the intelligent people that can see through the bullshit, they just sit back. They they see what's going on. They just stay silent. They just watch, right? And they just watch it all because it's not their job, to warn you or to tell you you're doing the wrong thing or to point things out to you that they can foresee happening. It's not their job. It's their job to do the right thing on their own, right? And everything happens for a reason. So they're playing the role of God. They're allowing things to happen, right? Because it's all part of the plan. These things have to happen because you can't be truly righteous or truly good person until you really see what evil is, because it can't even exist. It doesn't exist without that counterpart. Positive can't exist without the negative. So if you've lived your whole life and you've never made a mistake and you're just perfect, well, then you're really just nothing, right? You just are. That's it. But I mean, how can you argue with the fact that somebody who's made a mistake, okay, somebody who has been there and has seen it and has overcome and has made the choice to then overcome and persevere and even presented with that temptation and lived that life or been there, done that, and made the mistakes, they still can choose to do the right thing and the good thing. Now, how can you argue when someone says that person right there has more wisdom, that person is more experienced, that person is more trustworthy, credible than somebody who's never made a mistake? How does anybody know that presented with a certain situation, a certain temptation, that the perfect person, the person who's never made a mistake, how is anybody supposed to know what they'll do if they're presented with a situation? Because it's never happened. They've never been, in that situation, right? They've never had to make a mistake to say, okay, I made a mistake. I know it's like I need to come out of this, I need to persevere and do the right thing, right? That's why I've said this. Oh, I said this a while back. I said, it's the doing the right thing is what's hard. That's the hard thing to do. Doing the wrong thing. is easy. It's easy. So easy. You know? Why do you think that is? I mean, why do you think that is? You know, nothing good ever comes without hard work and perseverance, right? There's nothing that's made out of, through shortcuts or cheating that is ever worth it or will ever last. Nothing good comes out of it. Most of the time, all it does is prolongs the inevitable. It just makes that lesson that much harder to learn for the person. They're so stubborn. They can't see it. They can't see it. And some people go their entire lives and never learn the lesson. And that's crazy to me. It's like, what were they thinking their entire life? What were they trying to do? What were they shooting for? Have they ever asked the question, why are we here? What is the meaning of life? What is the point of all this? I thought everybody asked that question. That's what drives me is to figure out what the whole point is, and to do good by everybody along the way. And I've said this. I've been saying it for 4 or 5 years. I don't have it in me to go out of my way to cause misfortune for another person if it's not completely necessary, So I could have filed lawsuits against the town, against the police. I could have filed police reports and everything else against everybody that stole my stuff. I could have pushed all these issues, but I understood that it's what good's going to come out of that. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. What good is going to come out of me getting vindictive and getting revenge on somebody or getting my justice, right? At the end of the day, you think I'll feel better because somebody else is suffering now? No. And anybody who does get satisfaction out of other people's misfortune, you're sick. You need help. That's not you. That's the devil. That's demons working through you, using you. And then they're just gonna take you out whenever it's time. They don't care. It's bigger than you or me or any of us. It's a lot bigger than that. I mean, haven't you ever asked that question? Like, how has one person been able to to see, to just be so lucky, right? To just figure all this stuff out along the way. How could one person be just so extremely lucky that he just overcomes all this, that he just stumbles across pieces of information here and there, and that causes the plan of many to just fail. How does that happen over and over and over again? Why can't you people? When are you guys going to realize that everything happens for a reason? When are you going to wake up and say, okay, I get it now? You know what I mean? Because you look at me over here. Who am I? Who am I going after? Who am I coming up against? Who am I hurting? What am I doing, right? In all my spare time here, that's causing misfortune in someone else's life. What am I doing that is negatively affecting another person, right? Now, you can blame your problems on me. You might be having problems because of what I'm saying or what's coming to light, the things that are coming to light. But that's problems that are consequences of your actions. So overcoming this denial is your first step to recovery. As soon as you stop blaming other people and look within and look back and realize that It's the choices you made. That these are choices you made. That it's not my fault if you get in trouble for something you did. You know, you being mad at me because for speaking the truth is where you're wrong. You should be mad at yourself. You should actually be grateful and thankful that that I saved you from even worse circumstances or an even worse consequence. And now you're probably sitting there saying, "What? Nothing's happened. Nothing's happened." No, but it has, and it has. Come on, you guys can tell, you can feel that, right? You know how you get that feeling that somebody's watching you. I know, I know what it feels like, but I know you know what I'm talking about. And you perps, come on, you know that you've had this feeling, right? That somebody's been watching everything you're doing, right? And why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? That's what the whole system's built. It's structured on that. Everybody watches it. Everybody does. Everything's compartmentalized, right? And they have to produce, right? So as you guys, watch all the targets, right? Just waiting for them to mess up and trying to help them mess up along the way, right? I'm sure that there's plenty that have. And then that's where you produce. That's where you know, you say, look, this what I did, what I'm doing, produce these results here. We got these people off the streets, you know. They were going to do this and they were going to do that. They're criminals. So we got them off the streets. You fail to mention how you kind of helped them along with that. But either way, they had a choice, right? Everybody is free to make their own choice. And hey, you make your bed, you lie in it. So those people, I get it. If they made the wrong choice, they're facing consequences now. But now, don't you ask yourself at what point do you have to answer now for all of the intentions, all of the things, the actions you have taken, the things you've said, right? With that negative intent attached to it. All of those things, okay? The only way you can negate that or balance it out, right, is to counteract it, right? Is to do something on the opposite end of the spectrum, to do something opposite of that, right? You have to kind of right your wrongs, right? Because if you can't make me look like the criminal or make me look like the drug addict or make me look like the thief or make me look, you know, make me into the person that you've been trying to say that I am, well, then what does that make you? It makes you a liar, right? It makes you a manipulator, the gaslighter, right? And it looks to me like you've had this negative, spiteful intention the entire time, you know, because if you haven't been able to do that, then you have to accept the fact that I'm not these things, okay? At which point it's fine, you know, it's okay for you to not get your way, you know. That's the only way you learn a lesson. The only way a lesson is learned is by failing. That's it. You can't learn a lesson by succeeding. If you go all through your life by doing nothing but winning and succeeding, you've learned nothing. You've learned nothing. Nothing at all. Think about it. Think about it. So I just want all the perps to just keep this in mind. When you do what you do, just keep in mind that, God says you will entertain angels unknowing, right? And God works in mysterious ways, but he leaves it up to us, the choice. He allows things to happen. Yeah, he doesn't cause them to happen. That's us that do that. We cause the things to happen. He just allows them to happen. But he also does protect certain things from taking place. I do believe that. I do believe God, he watches out for people with pure intent, people that are, that are part of his plan, right? People that are doing what he put them here to do, whether they know it or not. Of course, he's going to look out for them, right? Of course, he's going to set little clues in their path to help them out along the way. And he's going to put speed bumps and roadblocks in the way of anybody trying to come against the person. And he's going to try to get the point across to anybody who comes against, you know, any, his chosen people, or anybody doing God's work. You try to come against that, and you keep hitting roadblocks, or bad things keep happening. You gotta stop and see it for what it is. You don't have to accept that is the truth, but why don't you at least entertain it, the idea for a minute, and say, well, maybe this is the case, and why don't I try this? Hey, what's the worst that could happen, right? What's the worst that could happen? You could do something good for somebody, right? You could actually make a positive difference in the world. God forbid, right? God forbid you sacrifice, right, your satisfaction and your spite to make a positive difference and do something good for somebody for a change. You know, I you know I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I have many lessons to learn yet, but what I'm talking about here, this is what I do know, and I've yet to be proven wrong on any of that. Nobody who says you're wrong, who can even argue with what I'm talking about here. I'm open to other perspectives, completely open, because there's always different ways to look at a situation. There's always, things that one person might not see that's clear to another person. That's why I believe in expanding your perspectives. I try to look at every situation from every perspective that I can. But if you're unaware of a certain perspective, right? If you don't even know that something exists, or you don't even know about a certain thing, how are you supposed to be able to view it from that perspective, right? So I like standing up on the high ground, looking down at everything. You can see the big picture. You can see all the moving parts, and you can really, really see how it plays out if you just, you know, you think about it with without anything influencing your thoughts or your perceptions. Just allow yourself to think about it without selfishness, greed, without pride, right? Without the without that looking forward to your reward, without any of those self selfish things. Take those out of the equation, and think about the humanity as a whole. Think about the community. Think about your kids. What kind of world do you want your kids to live in? What kind of world do you want your grandkids to grow up in? How would you Could you imagine say your teenage grandchild coming to you, and he's like terrified, saying that people are following him, and then you see all these people saying all these horrible things about him online. Could you imagine that, seeing that take place and watching that take place, knowing it's not true, the things that are being said, and knowing what's going on and having no power to do anything about it, being completely powerless and helpless. There's nothing you can do. Matter of fact, knowing that you had a small part and a hand in creating that future for him. Can you just imagine that 20, 30 years from now? Imagine the guilt you'll feel, like you had a chance to, make a difference and create a better future for your grandkids, and you didn't take it. Could you imagine that feeling? That's got to be heavy, and I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. That's a feeling I don't ever want to feel. I don't. That can't. That's got to make a person sick inside. I don't ever want to feel that. Oh, it's it's uneasy just thinking about that. Knowing that you're the cause or you're the reason that that an innocent child or victim has to suffer when you had the chance to do the right thing and you had the knowledge, the ability, the opportunity. So I just offer these, these perspectives, offer these, you know, these viewpoints for anybody listening who maybe hasn't thought about them before, right? It's never too late. It's never too late to make the right choice. It's never too late to admit when you made a mistake or to admit when you're wrong. Why do do tomorrow what you can do today? Quit putting it off and saying, "Well, I'll do it whenever. I will. I just, I will. I just got to make sure this is right." And, no, you'll just make more excuses tomorrow, and then the next day you'll just make more excuses and more excuses. That's what will happen. Why suffer any more than you have to? Why make it any worse for yourself than it already is? I've tried to warn a few people along the way, anonymously, just by pointing things out to them. And I've seen the stress and the worry and just the fear in their eyes. And it's like, that's got to be a pretty shitty feeling looming over your head. I've seen these things, but then the people still end up making making the wrong choice because it was too hard, too scary, right? They're too scared to change. They're scared of what they don't know. They don't know what'll happen. Instead, they just feel safer going with the group, doing what everybody else is doing, right? They'll just keep following everybody else, follow the leader, right? And I'm talking about you, Lynn. Remember when you got a note under your door that was, you know, telling you, that you're a good person, and somebody didn't want to see you end up, suffering because of somebody else's manipulation, right? And then I seen you. It really stressed you out for like a couple weeks. You were like worried, like somebody's gonna come after you. Like any day, somebody could just break down your door, and then you should be held accountable for this at any point. If you have that feeling, then you need to stop what you're doing, right? You need to do the right thing then. And I know that you had that feeling. I know you did. Whenever I went to leave my apartment and I saw that worried look on your face as you were mopping the carpets in the hallway, you know, and it looked like you hadn't slept in days. And whenever you would sneak up, whenever Dottie wasn't around, because you were worried, what Dottie would think or say if she knew that you talked to me. I could tell that they were manipulating you. They're getting you to do things that you don't want to do. And whenever you cried, you literally were in tears when I was cleaning up your bathroom because I had the bathroom flooded up. My bathroom flooded, and I came down to clean up your bathroom. What leaked down through the floor, and you pretended to be sympathetic about Trump, and you were trying to like refer to Trump, and you started crying, Lynn. I remember, and even right then at that moment, I knew you weren't thinking of Trump. I knew exactly what you were thinking about. And what did I tell? What did I tell you? I said, "Oh, he's tough. He can take it. He knows what he's getting into. He can handle it. It don't. He's got thick skin. He can handle it." I was talking about myself. I was not talking about Trump. I knew that you were not talking about Trump either. That you were not crying for Trump because it came out of nowhere. I remember because I brought you a bunch of change. You needed change to do your to do laundry, I think. Remember? And I brought you a bunch of change down, and it just out of nowhere, you decided to start. You asked me about Trump, and you started bawling. You started crying, saying it's not fair what they're doing to him, right? And I'm not an idiot. I'm good at playing dumb, but I knew right then and there, Lynn, exactly what you were talking about. Exactly. So I got your message. I know how you truly feel and what your true intentions are, Lynn. So I don't hold anything against you at all. Jimmy Grabowski, on the other hand, you're sick. You're an evil, sick person that needs help. You need help. You really do. Listen, somebody, there's always somebody watching, Jimmy. People know exactly what you're doing, everything you're doing, everything. Your confessionals, right? They know what you're doing, and you're like a succubus. You like get your entertainment and your joy out of hurting other people on a daily basis. That's you know that's something you're going to have to answer for, Jimmy. You won't be able to keep it hidden in the shadows like you think it is now, just because you have a you know private group here and and you talk in private conversations here and there. What the fuck do you think? Like you think you don't you just other people you think people aren't doing it to you? Are you serious? Only they actually have good intentions. So who do you think they view as the bad guy here, Jimmy? Me or you? Who do you think? Think long and hard about that one there, Jimmy. And like my brother, he took the comments down within within a couple minutes after I replied to his comment when he tried to say that I got my son to commit burglary. As soon as I replied to his comment, and he must have saw the truth and read the truth and realized, oh shit, and he deleted his fucking comments, which also deleted my reply to his comments. So I get it, yeah. Now I don't necessarily. I'm not convinced that you saw the error of your ways and chose to make the right decision. I just believe you're scared of people seeing your true colors. I don't think you've made the leap, right, to admit, what you how you were wrong, admit your mistakes, and decide to do right yet. I have yet to see that. I've yet to see anything that suggests that. All I see is just a bunch of acts to conceal what you've done and what you continue to do. That's all I see. And it's sad that I literally have to point things out and that other people are going to laugh at, that are going to, embarrass and humiliate you for you to see your mistakes. That's sad. That's sad. At some point you got to wake up and recognize them yourself, because there's not going to be anybody holding your hand there, telling you to make the right decisions at the end of the day, okay? And there's people that look up to you who, they expect you to be the example that they want to aspire to be. So at what point do you start setting the right example? There's no better time than now. No better time than today to start, right? Because tomorrow could be too late. Tomorrow, you could be the guy laying there watching this bus take off with your entire life in the back, and you were that close, and you just didn't. You just got greedy, right? Well, the Joker got you, right? The joke's on you, isn't it? So I thought maybe this would help people to bring it into perspective. Maybe they could relate, to this movie and this scene here, because it can teach you a lot if you let it. So hopefully this helped somebody out there. But until then, until we see until I see any results or see anything that suggests that it did, be good, or be good at it. Peace out.